Hi guys, welcome to another video of Life with Kanini. My name is Kanini. So today's video, I'm going to tell you how I went through my green card process. It was a struggle. I think I want to mainly do this video for somebody else out there who is struggling and you're like having a headache about it, and encourage you and help you to understand the process and to relax through my own journey. I came into the US around 2013. I was a student, and then I was thinking about my life because I was afraid of going back without a process, like things being in place in my life. I talked to a lot of people, and I was sharing my story. I was telling them about my life and everything, and they were like, you know what, you could qualify to seek for asylum based on your story. So I believed them, and I went ahead and I wrote I gave my story and I wrote it and I did the application and I sent it in. But there are things that I didn't know. For example, I didn't know that you can leave the country if you apply for an asylum seeking situation. You can't leave the country. So I had a trip in Europe and I went to Europe, and what happens in the system is that when you leave, they think that you have abandoned the case, like you're no longer interested. So that's what happened. So you can see my mistake right there. I didn't use a lawyer. I got advice from friends and people who are close to me, and I did the application all by myself, and then I left the country. And so you can tell, like, when you're using your own thinking and going through your life without any help from a professional, like things have a tendency of not going the way that you want them to go. So anyway, it took so long. I didn't hear back until like probably 2016, because of all the system is slow. Just the immigration process obviously is very slow. So if you make a mistake, it's going to even slow you down even more. So I'm here and I'm wondering, why do I never hear back? And it's not like you can write them a letter and tell them, okay, you need to respond to my case or something. So eventually, I get a letter and they tell me to go see somebody for an interview so that they can hear my case. And I go, and I met this lady. She was wonderful. I tell her my story, everything. And I go home and I'm feeling like, oh my goodness, I'm glad I heard from them, and everything's going to go well. But then they come back again and they tell me, no, like your case, they told me, well, your case might be sad and your case might be all this and all that, but they had specific things they were looking for, and they were telling me, yours doesn't sound like it's either political or, they just told me you look fine, girl, like you're fine. We've had bad stories, like your case doesn't qualify. Long story short, my case doesn't qualify. So what they do, they're like, but we are going to put you through a court system, like the removal proceedings. They call it removal proceedings court, and you can talk to the judge. So I wait, I'm like, okay, fine, let me wait, blah, 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 blah. I'm waiting, and then I go to the judge, and the judge tells me, well, you came here by yourself? I just walked to the courtroom by myself, no lawyer, no representative, nothing. Wonder, just wandering into the court system, and the judge looks at me like, you don't have any representation? Do you understand English? Like, girl, where are you? Clearly, right? I'm like this clueless immigrant. And so anyway, she tells me, like, you need to go find yourself a lawyer because I cannot talk to you. You don't understand the law, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, where do I even get a lawyer? Where? Girl, where do you get a lawyer? Anyway, these are so beautiful flowers. I'll tell you a story of these flowers. Okay, so anyway, I'm like, where do I get a lawyer? So what happens is I look at the lawyers that are around, like how they're talking to their clients, and if they are connected, and if they're explaining things. I remember I saw one lawyer. He seemed efficient. He was tall, very young, slender, and he seemed engaged in the process. But I didn't feel like he cared for his client. I just felt like he's there to do the job, the best job that he can, but I didn't feel warmth coming out of him. And then I saw another lawyer, and he was a little bit bigger, like more mature looking, has a great face, and was very warm and friendly to the client. The client obviously could not speak English very well, but he was taking time to explain things to the client, assuring them, helping them. And I was like, that's my man right there. That's the one I'm going to get. Come on. So anyway, I hired him. I asked for his contacts, and then I called him, and I hired him to be my lawyer. Lawyers are expensive, but a good lawyer is worth everything, So my lawyer first looked at my case, talked to the judge, and they started like helping me because I was very stressed out. And when you're an immigrant, you don't have I don't have family like in the US, so it can be stressful. Anyway, he got me a therapist so that they can listen to my case more carefully and understand like where I was coming from. And she was my first therapist. And guys, I get emotional because I needed that. Like that point of my life, I needed a therapist. I was younger, I was in a new country, I didn't have lots of friends. And I tell you guys, like, if you're having problems, get a good lawyer. And I walked you through my process of getting a good lawyer. So anyway, get a good lawyer. Let me do my eye makeup because I'm tearing. Okay, so get a good lawyer because it can be stressful. A lot of people don't know that, immigrating to a new country is extremely, extremely stressful, and when you're doing it without a lawyer, good luck, girl. But I would not advise you. I'd say, look for a lawyer. Talk somebody who understands immigration and how stressful it can be. Like a lawyer is like an immigration therapist. Like they help you through the process, and they've seen it all. Don't underestimate their expertise. They've seen it all. If you want to connect with me on Instagram, I'm Monica Kanini 1. So if you want to slide me a DM and you want a good lawyer, I can obviously recommend you to my lawyer and give you his contacts, but I can't do it on the internet because that would not be good. So long story short, my process was not very easy, but eventually I got my green card in 2022, and I remember, my lawyer calling me. I remember weeks right before months and weeks before, I was like giving up. I was giving up and I was tired. I was stressed out at work, and like my life wasn't going well at that time. I was kind of stressed out. And then, he calls me and he's like, you know what? It seems like your green card got approved. And this was after years of us doing like a lot of things to help my situation. But he was the highlight of my situation. And I remember I got the green card notification via mail that it has been approved. And then even within less than a month, they had mailed it for me. But, I was very stressed out, in the beginning. But eventually it worked out. And that's why I kind of like, I want to thank my lawyer very much. Like, they were very helpful. And also encourage you, like, if things are going like wrong, look for other solutions. Obviously, like if you can get a green card through work, continue your life, look for a spouse, get married, continue your life, because if you're waiting for your green card so that other plans can happen in your life, mine took a long time. Mine took like almost 10 years, but I went to school, I got myself an education, I started working, I still started to continue on with my life. Thankfully I was able to get a work permit, and during that process I could work, but it wasn't easy. And I think the worst part was, for a long time I was going through it by myself, and then my lawyer stepped in, and that for me, just the stress of it, like just somebody stepping in and like being like big papa in my life, and stepping in and helping me through the most difficult life situation, that meant a lot. It meant a lot. So anyway, my takeaway here is, if you're struggling, first get a lawyer. Don't do this by yourself. If you even are not legal in the US, get a lawyer. Get a lawyer, and let them speak for you, because that's their job. They look at your situation, they come up with their lawyer stuff, and they take it to the judge, and they work for you. Because most of the things that they want to know is, are you a good person? Do you respect the law? Are you a good citizen? Do you pay your taxes? Are you upstanding? Like most of that, like those things, like they look, one of the things I learned through this process is that they look at your rap sheet. Like, so if you're an immigrant, it's important, like if you want to get your papers, don't break any law, like even a parking ticket, like don't get any of those. Another thing is that, you might be discouraged because of the American politics. The right, they swing against immigration along a lot of time. Most of the times they'll say it's, oh, we don't want illegal immigration, but the attitude is usually not positive, when the immigration swings, when the politics swings right, they can turn away children and women, in need of help. It's just the general attitude, right? And then when it swings left, it's not pro-immigrant either. I wouldn't say like, oh, they want immigrant, right? But they're a little bit more understanding of immigrants as human beings first, and and the need, and the humanitarian need. I feel that way. I'm saying that, and I am a conservative. I'm a Christian. I am conservative, and I lean more towards my personal values. Actually, lean more right. I'm a Christian. I believe in God, right? But I find that when it comes to the right people, even if they are Christian, I don't see a lot of Christians being pro-helping immigrants. They kind of have that standoffish, like, well, you help yourself, and people have a right to protect their country. Don't get me wrong. Everybody has a right to protect their country. I wouldn't want anybody, just anybody from anywhere, coming into my country, personally, right? So I respect the immigration process the way it is. It's a little bit difficult, but it is there for a reason. It's extremely difficult, and for me, it was extremely stressful. But I understand the need to protect, to see who is coming to the country and who who isn't. So obviously for me, I am an upstanding citizen. I pay my taxes. I don't like breaking the law. Like, I kind of like keep to myself. So we have to go through that rigorous process because of the people that they need to keep out. And that's what you have to understand. Like, you might feel like the mood might feel like they don't want you, or they're like that, but if you look at it in another way, it's like, no, they want to protect, you know, they want to protect just anybody coming in, which is good mental health, because for me, I understand mental health and I understand boundaries. Yeah, you know, so, and I also respect the stand on the left. You know, it's a country, you know, so it's good to understand that different people from different backgrounds live in that country, and they need to be respected as well and acknowledged. And you know, I do like that attitude coming from the left, because if we only had this, like if we had, you know, just the one attitude, that would have been like, you know, I think those two attitudes kind of balance out their country. You know, some people are friendly, some people are not, and so it kind of mixes up somewhere in between where it's just right. You gotta tell yourself positive things, and that's my spiel. So, well, I hope that I kind of like helped you understand my journey. It wasn't easy, it was difficult. It turned out well, thankfully, and mostly because I used a lawyer and I followed his direction, and I was patient. I was patient throughout the process, mainly because there's nothing you can do. So what am I saying is, you know, get a lawyer, get a plan, but continue living your life. That's all you can do. That's what I did, you know. And you know, if I had gotten deported, I'd have done the same. And I'm going to try out this blue. I'd have done the same. I'd just have continued living my life, because life is a gift, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world. Oh, that looks good. You can use that gift, and you can help other people. So, well, thanks again for tuning in with Life with Kanini. Again, my name is Kanini. Ooh, I like the blue. I don't know about you, but I like the blue. I do like it. Okay, now I'm going for coffee. Thanks again for tuning in to Life with Kanini. Again, my name is Kanini. Please like, subscribe to my channel. And until next time, may God bless you.